Hi, Journal Sentinel. My name is Tamia Folks, and I'm a reporter for our Milwaukee Journal Sentinel newsroom. I'm here today with Maryland Governor Wes Moore to talk a little bit about why he's here campaigning for the Biden administration. I would love to ask you, one thing that stuck out to a lot of people after the debate on Thursday was that Donald Trump said that immigrants are taking away black jobs and Hispanic jobs. I'm wondering, when you talk about black voters and what that means for their contribution to the economy and the job market, what exactly was the former president getting at there? Can you tell us a little bit about what your vision for the future looks like?
I wish I could get inside the former president's head. Actually, I don't wish I can get inside of his head. But I know my phone blew up. It blew up after that because I think people were asking that exact question, like, what exactly is a black job? I think it was one of the things that most served as a contrast because in President Biden, you have a focus on things like work, wages, and wealth. Right? How are we creating a more entrepreneurial culture? How are we addressing the racial wealth gap? Since President Biden's been the president, we've been able to decrease the racial wealth gap by 60%, create more home ownership, create more entrepreneurs and more support for black-owned businesses. You know, that's the kind of economic support that the president is focusing on. And Donald Trump is talking about black jobs. This is a difference in a value system that these two people have. This is a difference in a vision for how these two individuals see African Americans and see our contribution and see our futures. And so I think that was just one of many examples where for myself as an African American and frankly for myself as an African American chief executive in the country, it would be laughable if it wasn't so frightening.
Realistically, there were a handful of gaffes and mistakes on either side of that debate on Thursday night. Can you tell me a little bit more about if people are feeling concerned about the Biden administration's strength going into November 2024? What can they look to for, I guess, hope or insight on how the administration will run?
Well, I think one thing we can see is the results of the past years. They matter because they're the closest indicators that we have as to what we can expect. And so when you have the Biden administration who can correctly tout that we have the lowest unemployment rate for African Americans that we've had in recorded history, that we can now have a GDP that is once again growing within the country, and we're finally to see an ease on the inflationary pressure, that we now have an economy that feels not just more robust, but is more participatory inside throughout the country. These are things that I think that the president has a track record of showing and is also then giving a vision as to what we can hope for over the next 4 years. And so I think people are seeing and realizing that it is not this campaign nor the vision of these two individuals is going to be defined by 90 minutes. The president has indicated that that was not a great debate for him. The ironic thing is Donald Trump says it was a great debate. So if people go back and really listen to what Donald Trump said, and if Donald Trump is genuinely saying that that was a great debate, that should give people a real sense of worry and a real sense of fear as well.
You're in Milwaukee talking to black voters today in Carver Park. You're headed to a cookout. Can you tell me why Milwaukee today and why it's important for Wisconsin voters to be engaged in this election in perhaps a different way than it is in other states throughout the country?
Yeah, I mean, Milwaukee's a great city, and Wisconsin's a great state, and it's going to be a really important state. And I think the values that Wisconsin brings on board are really very typical of the values that this country and the people of this nation really have. And so I'm here because I understand the importance of Wisconsin in this election. I understand the importance of the future of Wisconsin in this election. And I want to be able to demonstrate and share what kind of partner President Biden has been to me as a governor of another state. That's how much I care about his reelection. That's how much I care about the future of this country. That I've seen the results. I've seen what it looks like when you have the right partner in the White House. And I look at what's happened in Maryland in just the first 18 months since I've been governor, and I think to myself, imagine if you just give me another 4 years of what we can collectively get done. And I want to be able to share that message anywhere and everywhere that I can to make sure that November goes well.
Now, we only have a little bit of time. If you could quick fire maybe 5 issues that you think the Biden administration perhaps will handle more effectively in November 24 and on, can you give me a quick insight on that?
Absolutely. Well, one, I think if you're looking at the issues of work, wages, and wealth, These are clear issues that I know we've made a priority inside of the state of Maryland, and I know the Biden-Harris administration, have made throughout the nation. When you're focusing on things like job training and job reskilling, trade and apprenticeship programs, getting people to work, and hence why you've watched the most significant drop in the unemployment rate that we've had in our country's history under the leadership of President Biden. When you're talking about wages and the idea of being able to raise wages for our workers, because people should not be working and still living in poverty. That is going to matter in creating those real pathways for families. And when we are talking about wealth, that just means the ability to own more than you owe, the ability to pass something off to your children besides debt, the ability to have students who are learning how not just to be employees, but how to be employers, creating an ownership society. And so I think with 4 more years for President Biden and Vice President Harris, we can continue this trend, and we can watch how people's economic futures and people's economic competitiveness can actually be seen and incorporated into the lives that we're living.
Thank you so much, Governor Wes Moore.